Hey friends, welcome back in. Debt, it's an issue many Americans face, and it can get out of hand really fast without a plan to actively pay it off.
That's right. So today, financial expert Brad Hacker joins us right here in studio to give us some tips about how you can go about easing your issues with debt. Brad, thank you so much for coming in
Thank
today.
you guys. Really excited to be here.
We're thrilled to have you, Brad. This is ripped right out of the headlines.
Yeah,
I mean, inflation and what we've been through with the economy the last couple of years, salaries not reflecting that.
Correct.
So people are living on credit cards. People have gone through their savings.
Yeah.
So we're in a hole, right?
Yeah,
how do we start digging our way out?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing, the key thing is that, which is a little bit counterintuitive to how we think, but we gotta have a little bit of money in reserve, because a lot of us get motivated to get out of debt, and we start paying down and paying down and paying down, and then life happens and stuff breaks. You know, we've all experienced that.
That's right.
And then we don't have any money in the bank, and we charge it back up. So that first step is really, hey, let's get a little bit of money in the bank. Let's get $1,000. Let's get $1,500 in the bank. That way, when the car breaks down or the kid gets sick, we've got a little bit to fall back on.
Right.
So that way we can get back at eliminating that debt after we get through that little life storm.
Yeah.
So I think that's really the first piece of it, which most people don't think of that. They're like, you know, I'm gonna go after it, but that's really the first good step is let's get a little money in the bank to stop the bleeding.
And you know, and it doesn't take a huge amount of money out of one paycheck. I mean, people can do this gradually, little by little. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think on the saving side of it, the hardest money to save is the money we see. You know, because once it hits that checking account, man, we're ready. We're ready to go. And so setting up with some automated savings, that's a really good first step to where we have an automated piece of our paycheck that goes into a savings account. And then we can really start to budget. Okay, let's figure out what debts we have. I'm a big advocate of what people refer to as a debt snowball, where you start with the lowest debt first.
Okay.
Let's put all of our extra money towards that lowest debt, pay the minimum payments on the others.
Yes.
And then once that first debt's paid off, then we just snowball it into that next debt.
Yes.
Gives you a
really
sense of
way.
accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Psychologically is a big game in
absolutely. As a guy who was in the real estate industry during the housing crash, obviously, you know, I learned all this stuff by doing it wrong. And so got firsthand experience with it. And I can still remember the first debt my wife and I paid off in our debt snowball, a $1,200 Home Depot credit card that, of course, we were going to pay off in the 12-month, you know, no interest period. And I remember paying that thing off and going, you know what, this is going to work. We're actually going to be able to do this.
What do you know? This sucker's still here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
Right. That's right.
So we're moving into a season now. I mean, between Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I mean, money is just flying out of our pockets, right? As we try to make these holidays special for our families.
For sure.
So any advice on prepping for that holiday season budget?
Yeah, so I think, you know, the thing is everybody hates the B word, right? Budget. Nobody wants to have a budget, but it really is thinking through, okay, what is that expense going to be? So that way we can break it down into little chunks. So, you know, even if it's Christmas, right? Well, if we're going to spend X amount of dollars on Christmas, well, if I get paid every 2 weeks, let's just take X amount of dollars and divide it by 26 pay periods, and let's save that little bit. That way when it's there, now we can pay cash for it. So I think that's a really good way to look at it is okay, let's look a month ahead. Let's look 2 months ahead. What's that going to cost? Now let's break it into little bitty pieces. So because if you think, oh my gosh, I got to save $1,000 or $1,500 for Christmas, that's a really big number. But now if it's like, hey, I just got to save $50 a paycheck.
Right.
Now all of a sudden that gets a little bit more doable, and it's a little bit better for our psyche.
And you know, something I'm hearing with you is planning ahead, sitting down and actually making a plan. I'm sure that's important.
And sticking to it.
Yeah, right. You know, that's the old Zig Ziglar line, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
That's right.
So you got to really think ahead and actually take that time to sit down and go through it. Makes a big difference.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. So how can folks get a hold of you if they need some money advice?
Probably the easiest way to get in touch with me would just shoot me an email to my email address. It's just simply bradley.hacker@benchmark.us. And if you'll just put financial question in the subject line, that way I kind of know it's from this environment. Be happy to get back and help in any way I possibly can.
Great.
Well, this is
great advice.
Good advice ahead of the holiday season here. We appreciate you.
No, great to be here. Thank you all.
We'll be calling on you for advice
Sounds good.
as we dig ourselves out.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
Back after this. Stay with us.